And look, to be honest, a few positives. I thought Lacey was absolutely incredible. My man of the match comfortably. This is a 19-year-old who is not established in the first team, but is the player that really was the spark to get us back into the game in both admittedly, I thought Santos and Mount did well in the midfield. I mean, that's a big step from doing well to let's use them as our midfield next season, week in, week out. I thought Yoro at right back did well. Again, is he really going to be at right back? And Mbeumo got a couple of goals up front. Again, don't really think he's going to be a striker. So I suppose as you work through that straight away, and there are some tactical things I want to pick up on about Carrick that I thought were quite interesting as well. But the interesting thing is, I don't think Luke Shaw had a particularly good game. I think Maguire looked a little bit off it today. I thought Ahmad, obviously he's only played half a game, but and Dorgu was a bit off it today. Players who are actually in their position probably didn't have the game that people who weren't did. Like Mason Mount's not a midfielder for Man United. That can't be an option, but he did well. And Mbeumo up front can't be a striker. I just don't think it'll work, but he scored 2 goals. Yoro at right back, I don't really think that's where he's going to be, but he did well as well.
Manchester United 2-1 Atletico Madrid. 4 huge positives for Michael Carrick. Manchester United went behind inside 5 minutes against Atletico Madrid. But by the final whistle, Michael Carrick's team had produced another encouraging comeback and secured another impressive pre-season victory. Welcome back to After 90X. Today, we are breaking down Manchester United's 2-1 win over Atletico Madrid, the biggest individual performers, the tactical positives, and what this result could mean heading into the 2026-27 season. Before kickoff, this looked like United's first serious test of pre-season. Carrick's side had opened the summer with a disappointing 1-0 defeat to Wrexham before responding with a dominant 5-0 victory over Rosenborg. Atletico Madrid, even without several international players, still offered the defensive discipline, physical intensity, and competitive mentality normally associated with Diego Simeone's teams. Sports Illustrated predicted a 3-1 Manchester United victory, arguing that United's extra match fitness and talented group of young players could make the difference. The exact score was different, but the direction of that prediction proved correct. However, the match could not have started much worse for United. Atletico took the lead inside 5 minutes when Arnau Ortiz finished a clever short corner routine. It was exactly the type of situation that can punish a team still developing its defensive organisation during pre-season. But United did not panic. They gradually took more control, increased the tempo, and forced Atletico to spend longer periods defending. The equaliser finally arrived in the 53rd minute after 19-year-old Shea Lacey was brought down inside the penalty area. Bryan Mbeumo stepped forward and calmly converted from the penalty spot. Then, in the 74th minute, Mbeumo struck again. He reacted quickly to a deflected ball inside the box, protected it under pressure from the goalkeeper, and lifted his finish into the roof of the net. That goal completed the comeback and secured a 2-1 victory for Manchester United. The first major takeaway is obvious. Bryan Mbeumo looks ready to become one of United's most decisive attacking players. It was not simply about the 2 goals. His pace, direct running, and willingness to attack defenders repeatedly caused problems for one of Europe's most organised teams. Mbeumo finished with the joint highest number of shots in the match, created opportunities for his teammates and delivered several dangerous crosses. After a relatively modest first campaign at Old Trafford, this was the type of performance suggesting he could make a much bigger impact during the new season. If Carrick can consistently place Mbeumo in 1-versus-1 situations, United could have a forward capable of producing both goals and assists from the right side. The second major takeaway was the performance of Mason Mount. Mount's Manchester United career has been disrupted by injuries and inconsistency, but against Atletico Madrid, he looked energetic, intelligent, and highly influential. He created 3 chances, played 13 passes into the final third, completed 4 accurate long balls, and succeeded with every dribble he attempted. He also contributed defensively, showing the work rate that made him such an important player during his best years at Chelsea. The physical duels were still not his strongest area, but his movement between the lines and the speed of his passing helped United progress the ball. If Mount can remain fit, Carrick may finally have a player capable of connecting midfield and attack at a much higher level. The third major positive was Shea Lacey. The 19-year-old operated as United's number 10 and played with confidence beyond his age. He pressed aggressively without the ball, constantly demanded possession, and won the penalty that brought United back into the match. Most importantly, he did not disappear when the game became more physical. That matters because talented academy players can sometimes look comfortable against weaker pre-season opponents. Atletico Madrid presented a much more demanding challenge. Lacey's performance suggested that he is not simply travelling with the first team to gain experience. He may be genuinely ready to compete for meaningful first-team minutes. Of all the academy players Carrick has used during pre-season, Lacey currently appears to be the closest to earning a regular place in the senior squad. The fourth takeaway is that this Manchester United team still has another level to reach. Carrick used an experimental lineup and gave important minutes to several young players. Benjamin Šeško, Matthijs de Ligt, Lisandro Martinez, Kobbie Mainoo, and new signing Youri Tielemans were all unavailable while managing injuries or fitness issues. Tielemans had even been expected to make his United debut before the match. When those players return, competition for places will increase significantly. Carrick will have more tactical options, greater experience, and additional depth, especially through the centre of midfield and defence. Of course, this was still only a pre-season match. The result will not define United's campaign, and there remain several areas to improve. Conceding from an early set-piece routine showed that concentration and defensive communication must become sharper before the competitive season begins. But the response was impressive. United came from behind, controlled important periods against high-quality opposition, and received decisive performances from both experienced players and academy talent. So, the final verdict is this. The 2-1 scoreline matters less than the encouraging signs behind it. Bryan Mbeumo looked dangerous. Mason Mount looked refreshed. Shea Lacey looked ready. And Manchester United defeated strong opposition despite missing several important first-team players. Michael Carrick's team is certainly not the finished product yet, but after back-to-back victories, the confidence and momentum are clearly building. What impressed you the most against Atletico Madrid? Was it Mbeumo's clinical finishing, Mason Mount's midfield performance, or Shea Lacey's emergence? Let us know your opinion in the comments. Subscribe to After 90X and turn on notifications for more Manchester United previews, match reactions and tactical analysis.